Yo, we live, man.
We
Welcome
are
to the
back,
podcast,
man.
It's D.
Rogie, come
Oh,
on, everybody, let's pull up.
Start up. Oh, hold up. Before we start,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yo,
I'm ready.
special guest. Like he said he was ready. Respect. Special guest. Go ahead, introduce yourself. We're gonna introduce ourselves after the Rogie. Let's get to it.
Okay, respect.
Boom.
Shit.
Oh, y'all don't be playing with the pull up on here.
Ooh,
Nah,
no
for
sir,
sure.
no sir.
Get to it. But go ahead, introduce yourself
Okay.
for the world, man.
All right, my name Keith. I'm from DC, but right now I'm residing in Columbus, Ohio. I've been in Ohio for probably 5 years, really. I started off going to school in Toledo. I just relocated to Columbus, so I just been kicking it here, trying to get my start for real. That's about it.
That's it. See, and we was talking off air about that Columbus shit, but I don't know, Ohio. I've been out there one time over in Cleveland.
Cleveland.
It was done for me. I was like, ain't shit out there for me.
Really, like the people that you was with.
I mean, I was
like,
only there for an interview, mind you. So I was only there for like
Okay.
a company flew me out. So I was there for a day. I was just trying to find some shit to do, but it wasn't shit to do. Maybe I was just looking at the wrong places or some shit. But
they got some good eats in Cleveland. I've probably been there like once or twice, but they got some good eats in Cleveland. But I know a few people from there, but I ain't never really like kicked it in Cleveland
Right.
or nothing like that.
Big humble. So all right, so my question, right? So I know me and you went to tech together. We went to high school together. So I know Keith for a long time. But also I know, during that time period, you came out and things. So let's talk about you came out and identifying yourself as, bisexual, gay. How did you basically what gave you the courage or what made you to step out there? Because I know we know how it is in the city. Like at the time when you say some shit in the city, that shit is it's shocking, I guess, because we so small and we so closed-minded to shit at times that when someone just goes out and it shocks them and stuff. So just walk us through you know what I'm saying, that stage and steps.
So my coming out process was really a lot, honestly. I guess I feel like I've always known that I was gay, but being in DC, like you said, is definitely a different.
But how? I might be another cut you up, but how do you know? I've always been curious about that because when people say that, I've always been curious. How do you know? That's what you
just. I mean, it's honestly I hate to equate it to that, but the same way that you like women, I just always knew that. I just always knew I was different. So I'll start off by saying that I always knew I was different. So it was really just mental thoughts that I had in my mind. Okay, this is I'm not attracted to women the same way I see my friends are. What is it? Something wrong with me? Something like that. But basically, I really started out by coming out to my father in 9th grade. That was really the starting point of it.
How was that? Because I mean, we all know how it is, dads and how they feel about their sons. So.
Yeah.
Right. It was definitely tough for me because I thought okay, he's definitely going to hate me. He's not going to do this because like you said, everybody knows the stigma around it and fathers don't want gay sons and blah, 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 blah. Honestly, he took it really well when I first told him. It wasn't a situation that was blown out of proportion. He really was just trying to get an understanding of it. Because I mean, at that time, I mean, shit, 9th grade, that was 2011, 2012. So
that's
even
probably around that time.
Even in the world, people didn't even really know a lot about gay people or what they represented, who they were, things like that. I mean, you gotta think gay marriage wasn't even legalized until 2015. So that's the year that we graduated high school. So my whole high school experience, I was just wow, I'm probably never going to be able to be out to the world and be open. It was a lot of that, but he took it really well. It was definitely rocky the first couple of years. I mean, I really kind of only got 2 years with him after that because he passed away my 12th grade year. So it was 2.5 years. So he passed away after that. So I don't even know what he would think now, but that would definitely be something that, I mean, I think about that shit every day. Damn, what would he think about my life now and how I'm moving and, all of that shit. But I mean, he took it well. It was really my mother that
That really took a different. See that, and that's crazy, right? So like, and they share my personal story, right? So my dad, me and him just started getting like cool, like over that's neither here nor there. Maybe we just start getting cool and shit, right? And I have a little brother on his side, but I don't really know my family too much, and he's gay as well. My dad, I guess he took it a different way. I'm just talking to him about it, and I'm just trying to tell him like it's not a big issue. But I think maybe the big concern was because that's like it's junior, you feel me, and it's a lot of pride to it. But regardless, I don't see no issue with it. But like I feel like the old fashioned people, it take them a long time for that the process.
I was gonna say that it like the generation before us, like our parents and stuff, like he was saying, they weren't really knowledgeable about like what it actually meant. So like a lot of it was based on assumption, and like due to that, you know what I'm saying, a guy would be like, or a man would be like, nah, like my son can't be gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no way I'm about to have a gay son. And it's like now it's just like based on what you're saying, I think your father will be proud that you're living in your truth. Because I think that's the hardest part about I feel like everybody, just no matter, the sexuality, to live in your truth is the hardest thing to do. Like to really be comfortable like with who you are, and you know what I'm saying, like living for you. And I think like Rogie, everybody drink up.
Okay, respect.
Look. And that's the thing though. He hit you where you thinking like, all right, we good. We ain't gonna do this shit. Wow, they come.
Come on, y'all, pull up.
Wow. What you got? Some Jack?
I got some Jack.
Jack over here. We got Jack
bro,
over
man,
here.
shit right there. And it's a big bottle, so I don't play. You did.
I'm drinking the Hennessy.
Oh yeah, okay. Good hand dog. Bye-bye. Oh my bad, I messed up.
See where I was at? We ain't had the Hennessy. I was at Costco. I was like, it's there. Fuck
this
it.
Nigga get
I never shopped at Costco a day in my life. I go to Sam's Club.
See Costco where it's got the gas, got everything. Then the liquor before the low too. But and then this is another thing, right? So I was about to say, like, IG shit, I've never heard like the mothers, like I'm more so from what I hear, the mother's more so encouraging, for the son to come out and like encouraging, everything afterwards, So like just tell us about that, because it's kind of to us outside looking in, it's kind of like backwards from what the stereotypical way.
It was backwards to me, honestly, because I had friends that came out and it was like their fathers was, the ones that was hard on them, and the mothers was more accepting. And that's really just what you hear about, like even in the media and just like people that like the mothers are always more accepting. But my mother took it really hard. Like honestly, like that night that I told my father, he was just like, hey, like, do you want me to tell your mother? Like, it was more of like a between us thing. Like, do you want to keep it between us? Or, do you want me to tell her? And I was like, I really don't care. And she told him, and she just was crying like the whole time. It was really crazy for me to see, because I thought it would be the other way around, because that's all I knew. And that's the stigma and all of that. But she didn't take it really well. They didn't really talk to me for a couple weeks. Like it was like really like difficult in the house.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, can you go in and elaborate on that a little bit? Because I know like my mom's support, even though I wouldn't necessarily make the best decisions, knowing that like she had my back though regardless was like what got me through. Yeah. So like it seems like you went through this like alone. You feel me? Well, you had your dad, but not very much. Well,
yeah, it was more so of a thing where it was like I told him, he didn't really understand. So I felt alone, but like I don't want to like portray the image as like I was just like all alone. I had nobody, because it's really like gay kids out here going through that right now. Like they get kicked out of the house. People don't want to, like their family just abandon them. Like I thankfully did not go through that. However, it was still really hard for me to like see my parents every single day. Like I grew up in a 2-parent household and with my little sister. So it was just like, it was hard to like kind of navigate that. And I didn't tell my sister first, like now as of today, like me and her got a great relationship. Like, we always went to school together. We told each other everything, but like, I just felt like I couldn't share that with her. So that's definitely one of the things I do regret, because I mean, if you don't got your siblings, who else you got?
Yeah.
If you got siblings, so like that's really a fact. It took me a long time to like get into that, but I mean, it was definitely still hard.
No, you had a good point, because like without your siblings, or like without like a good, I would say like a friend group or a good supporting cast, you really ain't shit. Or just having somebody you can just rely to. Just like how you said you wasn't open, like you ain't go to her about the like you coming out being gay or whatever the case is, but like you just coming out, like you just talking to her and just building that relationship with your friends and your family, whatever the case is. I feel like that's the most important thing that people should definitely like remember, because you definitely, when you said that, I'm like, damn, like you ain't lying. Because even like like adulting, right? So I was on like me being down here, like me and my sister always been close, from granted, but like me moving down here, me and my sister became like super close, and I just feel like you always need those type of family people to kind of support you, no matter like any decision you do. You know, you always need that people.
Yeah, for sure. Like me and my sister, like we always went to the same schools. So like elementary school, middle school, high school. Like she even went to tech, but she was 2 years like lower than
I
us.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we always went to the same school, but we didn't really get like that close, like super close bond until I moved away. That's when it was like, damn, like we both really on our own. We don't have each other to like lean on. I'm trying to like start my adult life. She was still in school. It was a lot, but like in the past like 3 or 4 years, like we definitely got like super close. And so I mean I value that relationship more than anything, honestly.
And that's how it's supposed to be with that shit. And then another question I was gonna ask, right? So because we talked about like with the family, whatnot. So like let's say school, because we still was in high school, whatnot.
I was just about to ask about, say y'all went to tech, like, you know, how was it with
Because I could say personally with me, I didn't view him differently, because I was still like we would have or just pass, you know what I'm saying? That was my man. You know, we chopping it up every time.
We was always cool. Yeah, we was always cool. Like I definitely could say you never looked at me differently. Like it was always, and at that time,
that's a solid nigga right there.
Yeah, you feel me? Like
respect.
I didn't never care about that. Like it's more so like the person, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't care about, you like what you like, you believe in what you believe in, but it's more so like how you treat somebody, you know what I'm saying, and respect thing. So like I know me personally, I wasn't as closed-minded as people. I was very open-minded, and I had family members, you know what I'm saying, who are gay as well. So I was already like adjusted to that and things. So however, you know, we got people just like who is the complete opposite. They're not able to adjust, they're not able to, I would say, understand why, you know, the homosexuality. So explain to me like kind of what you kind of had to go through in high school, or because everybody young and naive and childish. So
high school was really rough for me, because like at that time I wasn't comfortable with myself. So like when I first came out, like I still kind of like tried to portray this image that like I still liked females, or I was still, I mean I had a lot of girlfriends throughout.
I had this journey. Let them know.
Yeah, like let's be clear. I definitely had a lot of girlfriends throughout middle school and high school, but for me, like even though I kind of like genuinely vibed with them as a person, it was never on a level where it was like, okay, I could see this being serious, or even like sexually, I never seen that for me. So like
I was just about to ask you about that, because when you threw girlfriends out there, I'm like, damn, like, so you sexually and never like got there?
I mean, I have not fully. Like
not
I
fully
never wanted to. Like it was never like a thought in my mind where it was just like, okay, I need to pursue this further. Like it just didn't register in my mind, because that's just not who I was. But I had to get comfortable with myself first to really like understand that, because when I was first coming out, I was like, okay, well maybe I'm bisexual, and maybe I just like both, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I did go through that period for like probably like 6 months to a year, but then it was just like, okay, now you gotta be real with yourself. Like, is this really what you want? Like, you really just have to make life decisions. And I mean, once I made that decision, I was definitely, I wouldn't say I was like in the clear, but I was more comfortable with myself. Like, it was definitely a process. Like, I wouldn't say that like when I came out in ninth grade to my father, I was just like, okay, well, this is me, and I can fully explore my sexuality. Like, it really took me until I got to college, honestly.
Shit.
From that time in freshman year in high school to like freshman year in college and sophomore year in college so I can really like be comfortable in my sexuality and who I am as a person.
Would you kind of say like that was kind of like you used going to college as a brand new fresh start where you can kind of gain your own identity? Because when you came into high school, you know, you came out at a later time, so people already knew you as one image, you know. So then it was like a different. Do you feel like college kind of like gave you a fresh, brand new start? Like, okay, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to be confident about this, and yeah.
God, I say pull up.
Good for
okay. Yeah, that's a good. I need some more. My shit almost gone.
Okay. You supposed to be prepared, man.
Yeah.
Listen, we big dogs. Don't play around.
I'm prepared.
Oh, respect.
Yeah,
respect. Look. Can't even say nothing, huh? Respect.
I'm prepared. Okay. All right.
Let's get to it. No, but would you say college? You serve college as like a fresh start?
I would definitely say college was a fresh start for me. Coming into college, I had just lost my father like 6 months prior to that. Like it was our senior year in high school, December of that senior year. So I had just lost my father. So like I was going through a lot of shit. Like shit I still can't even explain to this day, honestly. Like I'm on the other side of it, but I still can't even really like walk through all of that shit. Right. But I was going through a lot of shit. College was a fresh start for me to get away. I initially wanted to go like super far for college. Like I wanted to fucking go to the West Coast, if I'm being honest. Like I just wanted to get away from DC. Like everything that I had ever, like I just wanted to get away from all of that.
A brand new life type stuff.
Yeah, like I just wanted to start my life over and be like really figure out what's for me. I ended up going to Morgan State in Baltimore. So, you know, that's like an hour, 45 minutes, an hour away. It's not as far as I wanted, but that was my option at the time. It was cool. I definitely picked up a lot of bad habits there. I met a lot of cool people, but I wasn't able to like 100% be myself how I wanted to.
What bad habits you picked up though?
Smoking. I gotta say, smoking weed was like the worst habit that I picked up at college. Like, and it was really because of the people that I've been around. Like I had smoked before. I even smoked with my father before, but it wasn't something that I was like doing on a daily basis. Right, yeah, but like once I got to college, man, it was really over.
Listen, I hear those stories when like everybody just go to college, they start smoking and stuff, and it is.
I started in college. I did not smoke in high school for real.
It's stressful. Like college is stressful. You like, damn, I'm really out here on my own. Like I can't even put that shit in a word.
I feel like that's why college is cool though, because it's like you on your own, but it's like you still kind of protected in a sense. Like you got like that false sensehood, that okay,
it's a false sense. Yes, yeah, it's a false sense of like I'm protected and these people are watching out for me.
See, but
ain't nobody looking out for your ass.
I don't know, yeah, but it's like, all right, coming from an HBCU, how I look at it, right? You go to college and you're surrounded by people that's like you. 1, 2, it's like it's more so student housing, so your neighbor was more so calmly like a classmate or a student there or something like that. But when you get, and then you really don't have to pay too many bills. It depends on your situation. But like right. when you leave college and get to the real adulthood, oh, that stress hit different. That shit hit different. You got apartment hunting hit different. Making sure the bills is all paid, and then
making sure you got groceries hit different.
I'm telling you,
if you got a car, making sure that car note and insurance, like,
cause listen, I used to finesse in the cab. They know, like, I used to like flirt with the cab lady. Have all my men who had the meal plans.
Yeah, everybody was with a little 60-year-old John.
Stop. So I never went with her, fool. I used to flirt. I used to be like, "How you doing today, beautiful?" You know, hit flatter the old lady. You call them beautiful, yeah.
I want to ask a question. Since you mentioned that. Because I went to an HBCU too. Like I went to Morgan State for my freshman year, but after that I transferred to a PWI. So I want to ask you, like, what's your take on that whole like HBCU PWI vibe? Because mine is a little different because I started off at HBCU and then I went to the PWI. So like for you went, you know, you had your whole time.
Yeah. I would say me personally, right? And then the thing is, HBCUs, it gives you, I would say it teaches you to appreciate your culture and appreciate your kind. You know what I'm saying? Like if I've never went to HBCU, it's a couple things I want to learn about our culture that I know a PWI want to talk, or like or certain things I picked up the PWI want to talk. Like so, like let's say in DC, right? You know how everybody is. If a nigga staring at you, you know what type time is on. Like somebody about to try you, everything, right? I go to North Carolina. The first time in my life, I'm surrounded by Black people that's actually like want to see you succeed, want to be kind to you, you know what I'm saying? And actually want to help you just be the best you. Like my advisors, all of them to this day, I can go back there and we can talk about everything. I was talking to them about girls, family, all that stuff. Like you get that, I feel like at an HBC, you get that family oriented vibe. As a PWI, as I visited, you know, you distant from everybody. It's like a big school, so it's hard for you to get that good family vibe, as well as I would say you get that understanding that your race is looked at different from everybody. You really get that sense when you go to a PWI from where I look at outside looking in, because you got all those different type of races and they try to compete with you and shit, and then you kind of understand the real world better, but maybe not better. I'm sorry, but you may understand it at a faster rate about how you know the mixed cultures and stuff. But I don't know. I personally like HBCUs like better. What you think, Stacks?
I just think it's relatable as far as like the comparison, because both of them is an education at the end of the day. You feel me? So like you gonna learn going to either one, but going to a HBCU is like having a sense of family in a sense, because even like we all know it's scary to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the first time that you're on your own in your life, and going to a PWI, you know, if you're not necessarily an outgoing person, or if you're introverted, you feel me?
Done.
You're not going to like really make friends, because you know you're not necessarily comfortable in certain friend groups yet. Like you haven't been exposed to it yet. And a lot of the times, like as far as college, I think you're supposed to be comfortable in your environment. Like being in a certain place will make you like want to leave. Like, damn, like I don't feel like I have friends here. I don't feel like it's relatable. I don't feel like nobody understands me. And for some people, that's not necessarily the case. But you know, I think like HBCUs taught me like solidarity as far as like with Black people. Like that was the first time I seen like Black people united, like in a light that's not like negative. You feel me? So
the first protest I ever like been to, was a part of, was at my HBCU when they came together. Like that was the first, and I'm saying like I'm just basically like signifying that Black unity. You don't see that too often, because like we know in our culture we always going against each other. So that Black unity that you see at HBC, where everybody just together, everybody just want to see you just prosper, then that's like a great thing. But like, what made you pick Toledo out of all PWIs, Toledo?
Honestly, I had a terrible experience at Morgan. Like I never, even in high school, I never wanted to go to a HBCU. Like I never wanted that for me, because it was so much more of the same that I had been throughout elementary school, middle school, high school. Like I just really wanted to be uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Like
I feel that.
The saying is you have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable.
Right.
And I already wasn't like 100% comfortable with who I was, like dealing with my sexuality. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just take that extra step and just be uncomfortable 100% and go to a PWI. So that's always what I wanted. Like
you grow
I told my advisors at Morgan, like one of my advisors, he was just like, hey, like this is where you need to be. You know, this is X, Y, and Z. Everything y'all just said, and I feel like y'all just made really great points. Like it's definitely nothing wrong with the HBCU, and the points that y'all made was great. But like for me as a person, I just knew that I didn't necessarily want or need any of those things that was like being provided. Like the family aspect, I wasn't looking for that. The being around my people, I wasn't looking for that. I was looking to be the best me that I could be, however necessary. Like I really was like, it was like a selfish standpoint almost, but I feel like it worked out in my end.
To that, Rogie, let's get to it. That was a good. Hey, listen, that's a good point though. I ain't never look at it like that. just trying to develop yourself. You feel me? Like, and not worry about the others. Let's get to it.
Sheesh.
This is a double shot glass too.
Jeez Louise, wait.
I don't even have shot glasses. I just got this little wine glass, but we good.
Dude, do the job.
I got the red cup. I ain't got all that fancy stuff. But I got a question. So you talked about, you know what I'm saying, some of the things like the biggest misconceptions or the stereotypes that are out there about gay people. So like, what are some that like bother you the most?
That's a good question. I would say the first thing that bothers me the most is that like everybody is hyper feminine or like have to be like out there wearing the nails, the makeup, the eyelashes. Like every gay male does not want that or necessarily do that. Like I've never worn makeup. I've never did the lashes, like the hair. Like it's a certain point. Like and it's different levels to gay men at the end of the day. Like that I really feel like people don't really understand. And this is gonna take a long time because I mean people didn't understand Black people and they still don't. Right. So like that's just something that we just have to get to as a people. But I mean I've never wanted any of those things. Like I never like play dress up in my mother's shit. Like I never like put on heels or dresses. Like that's not me. That's just not me.
See that I would say like personally, right? Like it's not like I have an issue with or whatnot, but I feel like at times the people who like, you know, dress up, by all means, you do what you want, by all means. But like if you going a little bit doing extra, like being loud and all that shit, I think that's what probably bothers me because it's like you kind of trying to seek attention in the wrong way. And that shit is
I can agree to that. I can definitely agree to that because excuse me, growing up in DC, you know, we had to check it, right? Yeah. Everybody know who the check it
Listen,
is.
I'm about to say, niggas was gonna try to check it though too. Yeah. They was gonna try. Though.
Yeah, like let's be clear. Everybody know who the check it is. So it's like I never like wanted that for myself. I never like sought out that attention. Like I need everybody to see me. I need to be wearing the crazy colors, the dresses, the clothes. Like that's just not me. Right. But that's not to say I don't respect those people because if you feel like that's going to help you be your true self, then by all means do that. Right. Now, did they do some crazy shit? Like they was definitely out there wilding.
I ain't gonna hold you. They was listening. They was like, "All right, y'all gonna play with us? Fuck it, we gonna come together and whoop some shit like real live." And I'm like,
yeah, but at that time, like that was like 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013.
That was like prime.
09. Yeah, 09.
Whenever that reaction song came out, you know.
Yeah. That was prime time. Like people don't understand who we are as a people, so let's show them. They just happen to be those people that showcase. Like, I mean, they just happen to be the people that's in the forefront. Like that's just what it was. But
shit.
I mean, they had a whole documentary on. I think it was like Fuse or something.
Yeah,
I think it was either Fuse or Vice.
I think one of the members is like an owner or like fashion designer over in Southeast. He got a store or something. I'm not sure. I thought I heard that.
Probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They doing like a lot of real estate and stuff. Like they
get into that shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They get into their money, but they just had to be out there first. And so like I guess as a gay person, you feel like, all right, these people are not going to see me if I just be like regular. Because I had a feeling, like not to say that I'm like a regular person, but because I don't do all the theatrics with the hair, the makeup, the X, Y, and Z, I always felt like, okay, well, how can I be seen? Because you always want to be recognized and be seen. Like I feel like everybody goes through that, whether you gay, straight, whatever. Like you always just want to be seen and respected for what you do. So I guess they just felt like, hey, this is my outlet. I'm gonna take this platform and I'm gonna run with it. You can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at that. You just gotta respect it.
So like just like you said, right? You can't really like people like you don't do the answer, so people might not know. But like, can someone know? Like have that feeling like, yeah, like he's gay, or like he's, you know.
I feel like now that I'm like an adult, I don't think about what other people think as much. Like when I was a kid, I was definitely like, okay, well, I want people to know this, so how can I try my best to like get this out there and without like saying it directly And I struggled with that for a long time. But like now that I'm an adult, like I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Like
G shit.
Yeah,
I
real
don't care what
loud.
the next person is. I don't care what the next person is doing. Like I don't care. Like that's not paying my bills. That's not like it's not important at all, basically. So I don't know. I just roll with the punches for real.
Nah, but like this is what I'm saying. Like so, like from what I heard, basically, if you are in, you know, the homosexuality community, whatever the case is,
The LGBTQ
there
plus.
we go. Thank you. I'm so glad you corrected me. Correct me. Respect LGBT plus. LGBTQ plus. My bad.
Plus, okay.
So there we go.
It's a lot of other.
What is it? Hold on. What is the
that
plus?
can
What is the plus?
The plus is everything else. Like it's a whole little alphabet. Like I can't.
I know the
I don't. I
alphabet. For
respect.
sure know the alphabet. Like it's. I know the. You know the base alphabet. I didn't know about the plus.
Yeah, you just plus. You just plus because it's everything else.
I know the alphabet.
Everything else. Everything else. Whatever people want to identify as, you just gotta respect it.
Respect it. Very humble. Very humble. But they say once you're a part of that community, you can kind of like tell other people who are part of that community. Like let's say y'all dress regular, you can kind of like tell. Is that true or is that just like a?
It's like I guess they would call that the gaydar.
Yeah, y'all got a
like,
gaydar.
You would just know. You would just know, like just by being around. Like if I sit in a room and I'm having a conversation with people, I could just like read body language and read mainly body language. Body language would definitely tell it all. I mean, that's for any aspect, gay, straight, whatever. Yeah. Your body language is going to speak for you because a lot of people don't know how to manage that. And they don't understand that that's like something that people are looking at. But I mean, body language, your tone of voice, what you say, how you react to certain shit, like that'll definitely be a giveaway for sure.
Humble. Because I was always into like, I had conversation. They was like, oh yeah, like you think, but like, and
that really gets into like the DL community. Like
I was just about to. That was my next question.
yeah.
Like, what about like? Okay, so
hold on. Before that, Rogie. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it.
I'm ready.
So I'm ready. Look, he learned from before. He said, "Fuck it."
He said, "Look, he got his shit together now."
I can't do the job.
The Jack, nah. See, look, I'm a veteran with it.
Jack. Ooh. Shit, so.
No, that put here in the chest, man.
That last one,
yeah.
Last one, like, got me. Like before me real quick.
Nah, but go ahead, continue with that though, man.
Oh nah, yeah. So I was saying like for the niggas on the down, because crazy story, right? So I was in college. I stayed in this all male dorm, and I had a friend who I was studying with. She was a girl, and she had like her best friend was like gay, and she was telling me how like it was this app. And basically, like he would go to like the male dorm, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Tinder?
Like, it was like a gay Tinder. It was a gay.
Oh, it's a gay. I don't think you're talking about like regular Tinder. Oh shit! Wait,
it was like a whatever. You know what I'm saying? She was like, he would go to my dorm, and whoever had the app, most likely was gay. Because why else you gonna have the app? You know what I mean?
Very humble.
It's probably like Grindr is a gay app, Jacked, and I mean Tinder is one too, but like Grindr and Jacked are definitely like the gay apps for sure.
So
wait, they had an operation where basically they meet her at her room?
No. The nigga, like it was a guy, like this was her gay friend. Like she telling me about her gay friend, but basically what he would do is when he would look for a guy, he would just go outside the dorm and check to see who was online. And she told me the niggas he was going out with is some of the niggas I knew. But she wouldn't tell me who.
Because they will be on those apps and they wouldn't like post none of their pictures. It'd just be like an icon or something. And so they'd be, I mean, that's where the DL niggas be.
Wait, so people put icons and like random.
I mean,
shit?
it's just like a blank picture. Like you don't upload no picture. You probably don't put your whole like full name. You probably make up a name.
Nickname.
You make up a profile basically, and that's where they would be at. Like that's where they would be lurking at.
You black as fuck with a profile name like Pablo or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like shit. But it made me understand. I was like, damn, like it's probably more niggas just real scared to come out. Because like y'all niggas is really doing this shit on the slick. You feel me? I think like that's if I'll say anything that like I'll necessarily have like a problem with is that like if you are gay, I know it's hard to come. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you should like if you want to do it. You feel me? Like just do it. Like and especially now with the fact that like it's very much accepted. You know what I mean?
It's very much accepted now.
It really is. You know what I mean? People are beginning to understand shit. I understand a lot more now than what I did before. Because like, you know, I was ignorant to a lot of shit.
For sure.
But you know, now that I know, it's like more people are becoming knowledgeable of it. So it's like, young, you hide it, and that's why I be thinking the disease began transferred because it'd be like, you feel me? You doing one, you know what I'm saying? Then you doing the other, and then you know what I mean?
Keep it a secret, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And and I was about to ask you, like, for it being so, I would say more so acceptance now, like so accepting in 2021. How do you feel about, you know, this? I mean, clearly you said you don't give a fuck now, like about how other people feel. But do you feel do you feel like you feel better that people could come out respectively now and like not be trash, disrespected or whatnot now in these time of ages?
I feel like we all said, it's definitely a lot more accepted now. In 2015, Obama passed the law for gay people to get married, same-sex marriage. So like that was 2015. So like that was only 6 years ago. That's not a long time, honestly. So like now in this day and age, it's definitely a lot easier. I would say it's a lot easier and it's more accepted. But that doesn't mean that that person that's coming out in 2021 is going to have a better experience than what I'm having, like than what I had. Like everybody is still gonna have to go through their things, and it's still gonna be hard. But like, yes, it's a lot easier now. So I can't really speak to like coming out in this day and age because I didn't come out in 2021, and
for sure.
I don't know of anybody. I don't know of anybody that's came out this year. So like, I can't speak to their situation. However, like, you know, in hindsight, everything is always 2020. I could say that, like, for me, it would be a lot easier for me now than it was then. But I mean, people still go through the struggle regardless of when it is, because people are always going to hate on you, have negative shit to say. Like, that's never going to end for no matter what you're doing.
Right.
Cause I was about to say, like, no matter what, just like you said, no matter what you're doing, like, people definitely going to hate and shit. But then, just talking about like your adjustment from DC to like Ohio, though. Let's talk about that, because I know that's like a big jump from like a very fast paced city. We all know what the city is.
Do you feel the culture is more accepting in DC of it versus Ohio, like based upon like what you've seen?
I would definitely say like moving from DC to, I first moved to Toledo, Ohio, which is like a super small city. Like it's really nobody there except for the college. I would definitely say it was a super culture shock for me, because I mean, DC is so fast paced. Like y'all know what it is.
Yeah. We went to school in Greensboro, so we know that exact feeling where it's like the city is built around how it is with us. Our city is built around NCAT, A&T, and UNCG. After that, it's like.
Yeah, so that's really what Toledo is. Like, it's really just the University of Toledo, and that's it. Like, it's all white people for real. Like, you might have, like, I knew a few people from DC that went to Toledo while I was there. So, like, it was cool to, like, link up with them and really, like, connect with them and be like, okay, like, we from the same place. But, I mean, it really took me a long time to adjust to being in Ohio, because when I first moved here, I didn't have a car. Like, I didn't have shit. I didn't have no job. I didn't have no car. Like, I was just in school. Right. So I really just had to work my way. I just had to work my way up from the whole shit. Like, I worked my way up to a manager. At the time, freshman, oh no, that was sophomore year, I was working at Jimmy John's. So I worked my way up to a manager there. I was making a little money at the time. That was a lot of money to me. That was the most money I made. But I mean, shit, that wasn't shit for real. So like, it took me a couple years to be able to like support myself and pay the rent, pay utilities. Now you got to pay fucking electric. You got to eat. You got to do all this shit.
I was don't remember, because the first about to come up real soon. I don't even want to think about it.
Okay. You just got to charge that to the game. But yeah, I definitely had to work my way up in that food service shit. And at the time I had 2 jobs. Like I was working at Jimmy John's and Domino's, and I was just like a regular little person. And then I worked my way up to a manager there. And then I finally got a car. So it took me. I don't think I got a car until like I think it was junior year. Junior year in college, I finally got a car, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Yeah, like I didn't have no help. Like it wasn't like it was people to like be like, all right, I'm gonna give you this to a car, like do this and that. Like I had to do that shit all on my own. Deposit, fucking all of that shit. Insurance.
But I feel like that
all
shit
of
better. That shit better when you do it on your own, just because like
it is.
For one, you feel that satisfaction, like I don't need nobody. And then 2,
Right.
even if you go through these errors or whatnot, you kind of learn through that shit. So like even if you want to give all the rights to somebody else, or like even for like next people coming up, the next generation, you just like went through this shit by yourself. So it helped you be better, helped you be stronger, and it helped you be wise, so you can like dish that shit out to everybody and shit.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm never turning down support.
Oh, I mean, yeah, hey, for sure that.
Like I'm gonna be honest, like that shit is cool.
Going.
That shit is cool to get it on your own and be like, all right, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, it's like all you got is your story, and it's hard as shit. Because all you got is your story and what you told people. I ain't never mad at people that's getting the support from their family and their circumstances and what they've been through.
You the first person I ever heard, like not ever, but like you the first person I heard say that shit in a while. Because the motherfuckers be like, man, I got this shit out the mud. Like, man, you know the fuck I'm coming. You like, man, fuck it, I don't care about this. Like,
if niggas
if it's there,
support,
I'm getting
trust
it.
me, I will get support. Like
I will get support.
Be working out like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, life ain't built to just be like moving on your own and shit. Like you need support. So no matter how much you don't want to ask for, you feel like, oh, this make me less of a man. Like, son, no, I'm gonna ask somebody if I need some help, because that's what the fuck people are here for, especially family. Especially family.
Oh God, and that's the thing. Like people don't be understanding that. And then another question I mean, you talked about Toledo. Let's talk about like and where you at right now?
I'm in Columbus.
Columbus. Let's talk about Columbus. Like, how is that a big change?
Columbus is like one of the 4 major cities in Ohio. And so Ohio is a pretty big state. So for it to only be like 4 major cities, I think it's fucking Cleveland, Columbus,
Cincinnati.
And I
only know
and I would say Dayton is like the next one.
Yeah. I want to say I only know those.
And that's the only reason it's Cincinnati, because of the Bengals. So
literally,
yeah, like
if they had a football team and they was not in my division, but my favorite team, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all know my team, Steelers.
We already know you.
I'm about to say.
I wouldn't know about Ohio like that. You feel me? But nah, it definitely. But go ahead, continue. My bad.
I mean, Columbus is like a big shift from Toledo. It kind of gives me that aspect of like DC growing up, like major city, like a lot of shit going on. I can go to the bar, I can go to a restaurant, I can go to the club. Like I can do all of these things. Whereas like Toledo, nigga, I'm only eating McDonald's, Wendy's, and fucking they got Raleigh's here. Like
hey, that's Greensboro to the T.
Raleigh's. Like the shit is crazy. So Columbus is definitely like a change of pace. It's a lot more people here. It's a lot more shit to do. It's a lot more like restaurants, like local restaurants and regular restaurants that we would like see back at home. So it kind of just gives me a better feeling about being in Ohio, because I never wanted to move here, honestly. I never wanted to be in Ohio.
Yeah, that's an awkward place to move.
Making the best of it. That's the most important thing. Real
spill.
The only reason I'm gonna keep it honest. The only reason I moved to Ohio is because of Janae. So Diamante, you know Janae.
You respect, yeah. That's like your best friend, like that,
you know. Still to this day, like that's
very
that's
humble.
Like my sister. That's family. That's
family.
Very humble.
Like, very humble.
We still keep in contact to this day.
That's my man. My man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I talk to her every day. Like, but this is the only reason I even moved to Ohio in the first place, because she was out here in Toledo.
That's humble. That's like, listen. A lot of people don't be real about why you just listen. My man's out there. Fuck it. That's my dog.
Is that the first person that you told that that you came out to?
I wouldn't say the first person, because I didn't know her at the time. Like I think the first person that I told was probably like 7th grade. So I didn't meet Janae until like 9th grade.
Oh, so you was all right. That's interesting.
You prior to high school.
Wait, you said what?
Like you knew you felt that about yourself prior to high school.
I knew. I always knew. Always knew.
So let's talk about Zaire Wade now, because this is what I want to figure out, right? Not Zaire. Okay. I'm sorry, not Zaire. The daughter.
I think her name is Zaire.
No, yeah, that's the son. Zaire's the son. Like the
I don't know. Like it's okay.
We get the first. All right, the middle child. We know the middle child. We know the oldest.
I think her name is Zaire.
Zori. I think it's
Zori. That's what the name is.
Okay, Zori. Okay.
I knew the oldest was Zaire.
She was Zaire, but now she's Zori.
No. Zaire was the oldest. I think Zaire was always the oldest. I don't know. Regardless of the fact, right? Regardless of the fact. So
I know what you're talking about.
I was very confused about, her actions, like not her, but Dwayne Wade, you know what I'm saying? Like he came out, he's just like, yo, like she's a girl now, and she's at a very young age. So I'm gonna be real from the outside looking in. I'm like, she's at a young age, she really didn't experience anything, didn't experience life to kind of like determine what she like and what she don't like, really, because she was still like elementary. So do you feel like, because just like how you described, you just knew, do you feel like at that time you kind of just know like this ain't for me type shit?
You just know. And honestly, like I can't really like speak to that in depth because correct, I mean she's trans, so like I don't have that experience, and that's a totally completely that's a different experience.
So, and but what I'm about to say, let's talk about that because I was oblivious to that. Like
I mean that's a different experience. So like I'm not the expert in that. Yeah. I'm still definitely like trying to learn about the trans experience and like what they go through. But let's be clear, that's something that's very different than a gay male. But what I can say on that is like I knew from a child, like I always knew that I was different. I didn't know in what way or what that meant, but at the same time, you could look at it as for her situation, it's like, well, if she knows this at this age, then I would support that as a parent. Yeah. Because when you think like males go through puberty so early, like 9, 10, 11 years old, and people look at that as early as shit. But like if she's experiencing that at this early age, then my response would be like, well, how do you know that you like X, Y, and Z at that age as a straight male? Like, how do you know that that's what you're supposed to be doing? Like, all of this shit is subjective. Life is subjective at the end of the day. You're going to make your own choices as a person. So it's like, how do you know that you like females, or how do you know that you should be dealing with that? So that's like kind of my counter to that whole question, because
I never thought about it like that though. Like more so like puberty, you got a young age, you kind of understanding like what you like and what you don't like, you know what I'm saying? And in the case is, how do you know you really straight or not? You know, and
exactly. But nobody ever says that, because that's like the norm, and that's why like I really hate the word normal, because like who is really like
there is no fucking normal.
There is no normal. Who determines what the normal is? It's everything is subjective. Right. Life is subjective in itself. So all the decisions that we make in our life is going to be subjective. So who is to say like this is right or this is wrong? Like we only know what our parents taught us, and our parents are not always right.
They only know what they've been told. You know,
exactly. So it's like who's to say?
And that's why I say with older generation and stuff, it's harder for them to kind of like process, you know what I'm saying, the LGBTQ plus community, you know what I'm saying, like to adjust to that, because just like you said, their parents is the ones telling them that. Their parents are telling you, all right, listen, because they know black and white. They know how simply it is.
It either is or it ain't.
Yeah, it's boy, girl, and if you ain't, you just gonna be single for the rest of your life. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And so now I definitely think it is the time. I'm happy for it though. So I've seen a lot of people get bad. So I've seen a lot of people get even like hurt, killed, just because you know, them coming out. Like I know a dude, an African dude. I worked with him my junior year of college. Some of my junior year of college. And he was a homosexual Nigerian. And he's like, I can't go back.
That's a whole different.
That's a whole. Yeah, I'm about to say that's a whole different ballgame. He like, I can't go back, because they go back and they find out, and mind you, I don't know about the culture. So like any Africans, like if y'all think I'm copping, listen, y'all take it up with him. But like, listen, that's what they told me. I'm just saying, that's what they told me. Like straight up, he like, I can't go back because if they find out, then they might take it there. Like it's gonna be some like consequence behind that.
Yeah, like that. I don't know too much about like the Nigerian culture.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot. I know it's definitely a lot more serious. But I do know that like even in like the African community, like it's definitely a lot of subcultures in that they take life serious because they immigrated to here to the US. So like at the end of the day, they're like, listen, if you're not doing X, Y, and Z, then you're not fulfilling our purpose and they will disown you. So I feel like it's easier for those Nigerian parents, the African parents, to disown you for some shit that's like outrageous in their head.
Right.
Like that shit is outrageous to them. So if it's like if you come over here and you say, all right, they want you to be a doctor, they want you to be X, Y, Z, and you end up being like a comedian, they looking at you crazy. So like that shit is way more serious.
I'm not
than
gonna
I feel like
Rogie.
Listen, look, and I told him, right?
Look, this is our last one.
Hold on. But I was already ready. This is how you know I was getting this is catching up to me. I didn't even know I had to fill this shit up no more. I'm already
you
ready.
was ready.
Damn. Let's get to it.
But this was amazing, man. For one, you helped me understand a lot. Like I just love like gaining knowledge and more information on shit. I hate being ignorant, in regards to like
anything really.
Yeah.
Anything. Same.
And I just think like this can continue to help the next person who's not necessarily comfortable yet or needs a little bit more encouragement, because like you said, like even though it is still very much accepted in 2021 as compared to prior, there's still somebody who isn't fully comfortable within their journey yet.
Sure.
And you being an advocate, taking the front line, you know what I'm saying? You being a pioneer, because coming out in high school in 9th grade is hard. Like that's hard, man, to do. Especially, you know what I'm saying? You come into a new
city.
And where we come
DC.
from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had this hard exterior. You feel me? Niggas is supposed to go. You know what I mean?
DC is real life home of criticism. Like
home of criticism, negativity, fucking anything that's not positive. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a bug. Like I love DC, but I honestly was just home like 2 weeks ago for 4th of July weekend, and everything is the same. Nothing has fucking changed, and that's the problem.
You ain't lying about that part. And me and him was just having that conversation too about me, like just not even me, just more so just going home and how nothing really has changed. And it will be
you're not missing out on shit. You're not missing out on no parties, no people, no opportunities. Let's be real. It's not a lot of opportunities in DC. As big as they say DC is and how much they want to blow it up, nigga, that's for politicians and fucking people that's working on Capitol Hill. We are not doing that. There are people that's doing that. Like I have a cousin that works on Capitol Hill, but like that's not everybody's experience and that's not everybody's goal. Like we want to be out of DC and make it out. Like that was my whole shit, my whole time throughout high school. Like I just wanted to be out of DC and get away from that negative ass shit. Honestly, like I love DC and I love being from there, but that shit is negative as fuck. And if you never make it out, it's a sad situation. Honestly.
Hey, listen, I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm gonna edit all that because
they're alive.
That shit right there, man. He just throws out that shit right there. Yeah,
don't say that.
Real shit.
Listen, hold up now. So we gonna go ahead and end it. It's D.
It's Stacks.
Yo, hey,
it's Keith, man.
Hey, listen,
we appreciate you, man, for real.
Appreciate it. And listen, Roll Soul Podcast.
Go get the merch. Link in the description.
Oh, yeah,
subscribe, like.
My bad, yeah. Let's rewind that back.
Go get the merch.
Go get the merch. Listen. If y'all really love us, y'all buy that varsity jacket. But listen, good shit. I'm telling you, it's the shit. But listen, Roll Soul Podcast.
I just want to say something before we end. I really appreciate what y'all doing. I just want to give a little shameless plug to my shit real quick. Go follow me on Instagram, thelucky.libra. That's the social that I'm most active on.
I'm gonna leave it down here.
Okay, respect. And then me and my boyfriend, we also got a YouTube channel. We starting to get back into the things. It's Keith and Jared on YouTube. If you search that, I'm sure you'll find us. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll find it too.
But I'll put it down here too.
Yeah, we promoting Keith and Jared and all that.
Yeah, listen. We do it all. Rose Soul Podcast, we show love.
We appreciate you.
Hey, listen, we out, shorty.
All right, Jared.
Sometimes I ride through the city lights.